Weekend number one of the 2026 college baseball season is in the books, and it certainly delivered. From college baseball attendance records being shattered across the country to seemingly unbreakable records being matched, it was truly a dream first pitch of what is shaping up to be a memorable year. But with those results also come those dreaded overreactions, where fan base's optimism either gets turned on its head or confirmed and even inflated despite such a small sample size. Yes, we all saw that Vanderbilt went 1-2 over the weekend. Yes, the number one team in the country already lost a game. Yes, the home runs were flying, especially from down south in Waco, Texas. I'm looking at you, Tice Armstrong. But is he going to break the college baseball single-season record set by Pete Incaviglia? Here's the well-known secret. We really don't know. What we do know is the loudest statement of the weekend. That didn't come at Globe Life Field, or at Baylor, or even in Los Angeles. It came in Louisville, Kentucky, as the Michigan State Spartans picked near dead last in the Big Ten to start the season, went to the Jim Patterson Stadium and dethroned the number 8 Louisville Cardinals for the highest-rated series win in the 18-year tenure of head coach Jake Boss Jr. From a teeth-clenching one-run victory on Friday to an offensive slugfest on Saturday, the Spartans truly flexed their entire baseball toolkit to pick up that series win and put the nation on notice that Michigan State could be back as they try and break a 14-year drought and get back to the NCAA tournament. And with that, we say hello and welcome back to another edition of Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. David Kahn with you. Man, it is just good to have college baseball back and to have some games to talk about. And that's what we're about to do, as the head coach of Michigan State, Jake Boss Jr. himself, will join us in just a few minutes to recap the opening weekend for his squad and also give us some more insight into the Michigan State baseball program. Before that, we do want to be sure to shout out our friends at Home Field Apparel. They make quality, thoughtful apparel for more than 190 colleges and universities, including the Michigan State Spartans. You can sport the iconic 1980s baseball snapback hat or pullover, their Spartans game breaker jacket, the vintage state script or retro MSU running Sparty tee, and so much more as you get decked out before heading to McLean Stadium to watch Michigan State baseball this season. Be sure to check out homefieldapparel.com for all your Michigan State Spartans gear. Thank you to Homefield for sponsoring this podcast. Now let's not waste any more time. Our chat with the head coach of Michigan State, Jake Boss Jr., is coming up as we welcome you into another edition of Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. And welcome into Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. Weekend number one of the 2026 college baseball season is in the books, and we are delighted to be joined by the man whose team made the loudest statement in weekend number one. It is the head coach of the Michigan State Spartans baseball team, Jake Boss Jr., after they upset number 8 Louisville in Kentucky on the road, winning 2 of 3 for their first series win of the 2026 season. Coach, I really appreciate you having us. I really appreciate you coming in and joining us here for 3D. Let's start with this. Preparation for the season. You mentioned in Monday's press conference after the win over Louisville how your team hadn't seen an outdoor field since October when they got to Louisville last Thursday. Talk to us about the preparation you and many other Midwestern teams have to go through, because it's really different than all the teams down south who get the luxury of being able to practice outdoors.
Yeah, it is very different. And, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate the kind words. It's we kind of recruit to that too, though. I mean, it's different getting ready inside. It's something that you have to get used to. Again, for us, we hadn't seen a live pitch outside of a cage since October. And so you do what you can. You try to get out. We have a natural surface on our field, so it's we still haven't been on our field yet, but we have a turf football practice field that we can get out on. We'll throw a mound out there, and today actually, and we'll throw a mound and try to play some form of an inter squad outside. And so you just make do with what you can. We have a beautiful indoor facility that is a full-size football field that we can really do everything that we need to do outside of inter squatting in there. So we'll play a lot of cage games in the cages with the pitcher, catcher, hitter, and guys compete their tails off in there, and it is a little bit different. The good news is they've been playing baseball outside for their whole life, so it does come back quickly. The barrels are a little slow usually that first time through the order, but it does come back fairly quickly.
Yeah, you think the barrels would be a little slower, but your guys came out and had home run parties all weekend in Louisville. I mean, you had Randy Seymour, you had Parker Pico go nuts with 2 on Saturday. Adam Broski, who we'll talk about him in short order. What a great story he's had, especially with the start to this year. But let's talk about coming into this season, because you're ranked 15th in the Big Ten preseason poll. Do your guys use that as any kind of motivational tool to come out and make a statement as loud as they did against Louisville, or is it more just rankings don't matter, especially not early in this season?
Yeah, I don't think the rankings matter a whole lot, and I think we've talked to our guys about that. I don't really care, who says what about us. I mean, we know what we have in that room, and win, lose, or draw, I think, we're going to go compete our tails off. We got great kids that work hard, and, I'll take my chances with these guys against anybody. And so that's kind of the approach going into it, let the outside noise be whatever that is. And, we control what we can control. And so, it's not easy sometimes with social media and things like that, but, I think we have a pretty mature group that handles their business well. And, I don't think that any of that mattered to them.
We're chatting with Jake Boss Jr., the head coach of the Michigan State Spartans baseball team. First of all, Coach, your last name. I don't think there's anything else you could be doing other than leading something, whether it's a team, an office, or whatever. I mean, Boss, like that's the perfect last name for being the head coach of a baseball team, isn't it?
Well, I get that a lot, and my dad was a coach also, so I kind of grew up in the dugout. And my son is his name is Jake as well. He's Jake the Fifth, and so he's on TV every night. He's a sportscaster, so I don't know what it is about the last name. Maybe we were all destined for that, I guess.
You're destined for greatness. I mean, your dad just got inducted into the Michigan Baseball Hall of Fame a couple of years ago, legendary high school coach. He's in the Lansing Hall of Fame. Your son, I saw, is down in Traverse City doing great work for television. So that's all awesome stuff. Let's talk about the awesome stuff that your team did down in Louisville over the weekend. Let's start with game one. Jam-packed fight. Your team pulls it out. They strand the tying run in the ninth inning. But the thing I want to focus on, Adam Broski, he homers for his first career extra base hit at Michigan State. His story is just so remarkable, isn't it?
It is. And he was a kid that was not very highly recruited out of high school. I saw him play a couple times, and so did my staff. And, defensively, we really liked him. He's got a really good arm. He moves well. He's very athletic. The offense was a little, behind, we kind of thought at the beginning, especially out of high school. And, he got some playing time his freshman year and then got hurt. And so he got hurt early enough in the season that we could use a medical red shirt. But, we came back last year, and, we weren't sure what we were going to get out of him from a health perspective. So, we recruited obviously you have to have more than one catcher. And so the two guys that we had were older guys, and they got the majority of the playing time. And I think Adam was pretty frustrated by that. And I don't blame him for that. But, he knew he had a great opportunity coming into this season. And, he's one of those guys that just at the plate especially has continued to get better and better as his time here at Michigan State has gone on. And so, again, not sure what we were going to get out of him offensively, but, very pleasantly surprised. He had a great weekend, and just really happy for him. He's the nicest kid you're ever going to want to meet. He's a kid that you love to have him represent your program. And, he goes out and plays hard, does a nice job with the pitching staff as well. So, thrilled for Adam and excited to see, where it goes from here, moving forward. But, definitely a good start for sure.
Yeah, and I think it goes to show a lot about the character of him, but also about the mental makeup of this program, your staff, that, you hear the word players are frustrated, and, well, the thought is, well, they could just go hop in the transfer portal and go anywhere they want. Adam didn't do that, and I think that shows a lot about just the way this program is built and the pillars that you and your staff have built it on, that he still felt, hey, it's better for me to be here and continue to grow, and now he's getting a shot, and he's delivering on that promise. A guy who also delivered game 2 on Saturday when your offense just went bananas. Parker Pico is the biggest reason why. First Spartan with 8 RBI in a game since the turn of the century, which, I mean, nothing new for this guy, right? Like, he was second on your team in slugging, runs batted in, home runs last year. Heck, he led the Big Ten in triples. Like, but what stood out to you the most watching him have the weekend that he did, especially on Saturday?
Well, kind of similar to Adam, Parker's a guy that he's a hometown kid. I mean, he's a Michigan kid, went to Alabama his freshman year, didn't get many at bats, and decided he wanted to come home. And so, Last year was really the first year in his career that he got consistent at bats. And you saw him make some dramatic strides from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, especially offensively last year. And so, obviously we were very hopeful that power would play because we lost our first baseman a year ago at 15 home runs, and we're trying to, replace that. And thought Parker has the capability to do that for sure. And so, he's becoming more of a complete hitter. He hit a long home run to the pull side. He hit a long home run to the right center field gap. And he just missed 2 other home runs on Saturday as well. I mean, there was a sac fly to the wall, and then he hit a laser to straightaway center field that got caught with the center fielder's back to the wall. So, that was a really good day, but that's what he's capable of. He's a big, strong kid. That's a pretty efficient swing. And when he gets a barrel to the ball, he can backspin it and it's going to go.
Heck, if he had hit 4 home runs on Saturday, he would have outdone Tice Armstrong from the night before for Baylor, who hit 3, and he tied college baseball's unbreakable record with 3 grand slams in the same game. But 4 home runs, move over, Tice. Parker Pico says, hold my drink. I'll hit 4 of them. Doesn't matter if they're grand slams or not. He did have one of those on Saturday. But he also changed his number this year from 13 to 11. What's that about?
I have no idea, to be quite quite honestly. I don't care if he hits home runs like that. He can wear whatever number he wants. I'm not sure. I stay completely out of the number game because it seems like there are more guys that complain about what their number is than not. So I don't know, and I don't care.
I love it. All right, talk to us about the rest of this team, because I know you're very excited about the potential of this group. You got 16 newcomers. You did lose the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year and your team leader in home runs from last season, but you retained 3 of your top 5 average guys. You got Ryan McKay, Randy Seymour, Nolan Higgins getting all the preseason hype. What are you most excited about to watch as this team develops into that cohesive unit that could do some damage here in the Big Ten in 2026?
Well, I think we've got some strong leadership, especially out of our captains and our seniors. And so, watching those guys do their thing, I think is what's the most exciting, for me. I mean, Randy Seymour, a kid similar to Broski that, although he didn't get hurt, he was behind Mitch Jebb his freshman year. And, Mitch was a high draft in the Pirates organization. So Randy didn't get many at-bats. So in hindsight, maybe we should have redshirted him, but, we threw him in at shortstop his sophomore year, and he did a nice job for us. And his sophomore and junior year, but struggled a little bit defensively. We moved him over to the right side of the field and put him at first base. He's a big target over there, and I think he played a good first base over the weekend. And the same with his offense. It continues to come. It gets better. It's gotten better and better and better every year, and he's going to need to be a guy for us in the middle of the order that we can rely on. And he certainly was last weekend. A lot of production out of Randy. Ryan McKay, as you said, is probably the best guy that we had on paper coming back. He hits at the top of the order for us, and just a very mature hitter. Had a great summer out in the Cape, and I think he's positioned himself to be a pretty good draft, provided he has a good year this year. And he's an unbelievable kid. Continues to get better defensively. And so that again, it's been fun to watch him. The left side of the field is new. Right now, Jason Oliver was a transfer, another kid that was from the state that left the state that came back, and defensively played well. He had, I think, 10 home runs as a freshman at another school, and so that there's potential there for that. And then CJ Deckinga is a freshman at third base for us, who's a big, strong kid that didn't have anything to show for it over the weekend, but hit a bunch of balls hard. And I think he's gonna have a chance to be a special player here before it's all said and done. So, the outfield is fairly, 2 of the 3 guys are back. Nick Williams, who's a senior, and bat to ball skills are outstanding. And obviously Pico, and then we had a couple different guys play center field over the weekend, Trent Rice and Isaac Sturgis. And, we like both those guys too, and they can be pretty dynamic players. And so, on the mound, as you said, we got a great start out of Aiden Donovan on Friday. He's a sophomore, and Aiden throws a lot of strikes. He threw a lot of strikes a year ago. And sometimes that was great, and sometimes that wasn't great, because his misses ended up over the middle of the plate. But He competed his tail off for us. Carter Monk, same thing, was a transfer from Illinois State, who's a fifth-year guy, very experienced guy. He did a great job. The bullpen was lights out. Nolan Higgins, I think, is a really dynamic arm out of the pen. And so we'll see, how that continues. But I think he likes that role. Tommy Shapansky's another one that was at a Michigan kid that went to a different school that came back. He tweaks his mechanics a little bit, and I think it's allowed him to be in the strike zone a lot more with some pretty dynamic stuff. So, very pleased with the entire weekend. I think, Sunday, the first two innings were tough for us, but, after that, I think we settled into it a little bit better and gave ourselves a chance. I think even though it was a 9-1 game, I think, we had runners in scoring position and had some opportunities to get ourselves back into it, which, I was proud of our guys for. They continue to play hard and certainly didn't pack it in. So
there's one word that you kept saying that really stuck out to me in that incredible scouting report on your entire team and the analysis of the weekend. It was these guys came home. And I know that this place, Michigan State, East Lansing, like it holds a special place to you. Heck, you just signed a contract extension that will keep you here in East Lansing through 2029. That'll be 21 seasons for you here in East Lansing. You grew up here. You've been a Spartan supporter your whole life. What does everyone listening or watching this need to know about why Michigan State and the Lansing community is just so remarkable and so special to you?
Well, I grew up here first and foremost, again, my dad was a high school coach in the area for a long time. He had Magic Johnson in gym class back in the day. And, so I went to the same high school, Lansing Everett. And it's just a special place. The people make it what it is. And I think you look at a guy like our basketball coach and the amount of time that he was here, the time that Mark D'Antonio spent here. I mean, if you go up and down the coaching staff, of our athletic department, the head coaches, the majority of head coaches here either went to Michigan State or are tied to the area in some way, shape, or form. I think, our volleyball coach played here at Michigan State. Our women's soccer coach grew up in East Lansing, but played at actually the same Division III school that I played at. Our men's soccer coach played here. Our gymnastics coach was a gymnast here. And so, our hockey coach played hockey here at Michigan State. And so our women's basketball coach is from the area and, came home. And so I think you look at, up and down the department directory, I guess, and there are a lot of people that have close ties to the area. And I think, I think that carries over to our student athletes. I think our student athletes see that. I think that helps the culture here because I think we do realize this is a special place. And I think for most of us here, if not all of us, this was the dream job, when we all started out on our journey. It certainly was for me. And so I think our players see that and recognize it and pay attention to that. And I think it does speak to the culture that we have not only on our team here, but, in our athletic department. And it's a blue collar place. I mean, we like to, roll our sleeves up and get after it. And, you've seen a lot of people that have been here for a long time.
Yeah, well, your team's certainly going to have to get after it again this weekend because what do you get as a reward for beating a team that went to Omaha last year? You get to go play the winningest program in college baseball. You're headed to Austin this weekend to face the Longhorns. What a prize. The last time you were there, 2002, you were an assistant at Eastern Michigan. Augie Garrido was the head coach. Houston Street was the closer. Now they've got some guy named Jim Schlossnagle. Nobody's ever heard of him. I mean, Dylan Valantis is their ace. He's fine, I guess. How do you frame up these types of opportunities for your team heading into the weekend? Because we just mentioned all the accolades of Texas. Does the allure of that all serve as a driver for this team to go show them, hey, let's show what MSU is made of? Or do you and your staff go, hey, it doesn't matter what the other jersey reads, just be us?
Well, I think a little bit of both. We would be, we'd be crazy not to recognize that it is the, winningest program in college baseball. And, beautiful facility, and they'll put 10,000 people in there. And, the tradition that they have at the University of Texas is incredible. And so it's a great opportunity for our guys. And I think it's something that, we've always thought about when we've scheduled, to try to create an experience that our guys are never going to forget. We play in Greenville, South Carolina every year, which is one of the highlights of our schedule. But to get a chance to go play in another regional type of environment in front of a lot of people, I think it builds character for our guys. I think it helps them get ready for what's going to be a very, very good Big Ten race this year for us. And so I think there are no downsides to it, as far as we're concerned. Nobody really expects anything out of us. And, we're just going to go down and play hard, and see what happens. Keep it the same approach that we had at Louisville last week. And, we'll go play hard and see what the score is after 9 innings and, kind of go from there. But I think it's going to be a great learning experience for our guys. I think it'll be something that, again, that they are never going to forget, playing in that atmosphere and in front of that kind of crowd against that program. And I think that's part of what our jobs are about here at this level and at Michigan State. I mean, we're trying to create memories for our guys. Our basketball coach talks about it all the time. And if it's good enough for him, then it's certainly good enough for me. So, trying to create memories for these guys that they can take moving forward.
Yeah, I want to touch on your relationship with Tom Izzo in just a second. As Jake Boss Jr., the head coach of Michigan State in his 18th season, joins us here on 3D. Coach, I want to ask you: Have you ever heard of the Borgoball here? Is this floating around the Michigan State baseball locker room yet?
It is not yet, no.
Okay, well, first of all, they're one of our sponsors on the podcast. They're going to be sending some Borgoballs your team's way because they want to be in every single locker room. So it's a foam indoor baseball. I'm showing it on the camera right now for those listening to the podcast version of this. It's got raised seams, though, so it really imitates the feel of holding a real baseball, throwing a real pitch. They're across the nation. They're fantastic. They're made by our friends at the Backyard Baseball Bros. Go to backyardbaseballbros.com to get a 4-pack of the Borgoballs for just $20. Really cheap, really affordable, but really quality material. It's great stuff. But they sponsor a segment we call the Moment That Delivered. So you've been around Michigan State for 17 seasons now. So I want to ask you, what is a moment that delivered from your previous 17 seasons that really just kind of stays in your brain as a moment that stands out to you from your time in East Lansing?
Yeah, there are, a handful of them. I think obviously the day that I got the job is one that I'll never forget. The day that I interviewed for the job, I was driving home and I got a phone call from Tom Izzo. And then I got a phone call from Kirk Gibson.
Wow.
I thought, wow, this is something I might have an actual chance at this. These guys aren't going to call me if I wasn't a real candidate. But since being here, I think, we won a Big Ten championship in 2011. And the last out of that game, was something that I'll never forget. And then, we got an at-large bid into the regional in 2012. And, seeing your name pop up on the screen is a feeling that I'll never forget. I mean, we didn't even know who we were playing because our name popped up first and, the room went crazy. And so, those are just a handful of them, though. I mean, there's so many different moments that, again, this was my dream job. So I do honestly pinch myself almost daily walking in here. I can't, I was a very average to below average Division III player. And for me to be able to sit in this chair now this is my 18th season is just, I've been very, very blessed and to have my family and my kids grow up, here and have the experiences that they've been able to have with me is just been incredible, more than I could ever dream.
That's awesome stuff. And listen, you may have been a below average or average player, but you are anything but that as a head coach. And I can see just from the passion that you exude that this is your dream job and this is where you want to be for the remainder of your career. And that's awesome to see.
When you're on the move and looking for nonstop college sports action, get the Varsity Network app and take the game with you everywhere. Stream live play-by-play from schools across the country right from your phone, free. Catch hundreds of weekly podcasts, including shows from your favorite teams, all in one place. From football Saturdays to midweek hoops, it's your all-access pass to the college sports world. Whether it's game day or just your daily drive, the Varsity Network app has you covered. Download now and listen live for free on the Varsity Network app.
Hi, I'm Megan Gower of Her Hoop Stats. Each week, co-host Rob Joyce and I break down all the latest around women's basketball on the Gower Hour. We analyze what's happened each week, preview what's to come, and talk with guests from around the country to make sure you're covered coast to coast from now all the way through the Final Four in April. Available each week, Search and subscribe to Her Hoop Stats in your feed on Apple, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And check out herhoopstats.com for all your women's hoops needs.
All right, some quick hitters for you as we start to wrap things up here with Jake Boss Jr., the head coach of Michigan State. You've mentioned Tom Izzo a lot. You mentioned on Saturday you got a congratulatory text from him after your team clinched the series. He's been at Michigan State your entire time as a coach, and I'm sure you remember watching his teams even before you got to the university in a coaching capacity. What's your relationship like with him, and what have you learned from him coaching-wise, watching him lead Spartan basketball since 1995?
Well, Tom's the best, and I was wrong. That wasn't Saturday. That was actually Friday. And he was in the locker room before they played Wisconsin, about an hour before tip, and he was texting me. And, I was pretty blown away by that, but that's who he is. He's a guy that cares deeply about Michigan State, cares deeply about what's going on, not only in our athletic department, but, in our university as a whole. And so, I've gotten a chance to, sit down with him a lot, and we're very good friends. And, I think there's something you can always learn from a guy like that. And, the passion that he has for his players, you see him on TV get after those guys, during timeouts and things like that. And I think he gets a bad rap sometimes just for people that don't do any of their research and are, quite honestly, what I would feel is lazy reporters. Because if you do your homework, that he loves his players and his players love him. And those guys, they may go at it, but what's what you don't see in the office after the game or the next day. When they have alumni weekend here, it is jam packed. With not only the stars from the NBA, but the guys that never played. The guys that were on the end of the bench that are successful businessmen, and the relationship piece of it for Coach Izzo, I think, is something that we can all learn from, and I try to continue to be better at it every day if I can. It's just something that I try to pay attention. I mean, we go to just about every basketball game and that we can, except when we're on the road, obviously. And I watch the game, but I really like to watch Tom work on the sidelines, how he handles officials, how he handles timeouts, and all of that. And it's just like it's a master class in coaching every day.
I'm sure the support both ways is really meaningful to both of you, as you've talked about. And the unfortunate part for you then this time of year, Michigan State doesn't play a home game in baseball until March 20th. So you guys are going to be on the road while the Spartans try and, cement their case to be a high seed in the NCAA tournament. Beyond being a relationship guy and leading baseball, I saw you're also a published author. You co-wrote a book called Dare to Hit 400, 95-page paperback that looks at characteristics of 400 hitters, how they differ from average hitters. Where did this idea come from to write this book? I know you were an English major in college, so was this kind of an ambition of yours to write a book?
Yeah, it was. And that, now you're going back a long time, so I was an English major in college. After I graduated, I taught English and social studies at the high school level for a year and a half, and then went to work at Fort Dodge, Iowa, at Iowa Central Community College. And, that was a great experience for me because that was an opportunity for me to just kind of pour myself into the job. And I lived in the dorms, I ate in the cafeteria, and I was the first guy in the office and the last guy to leave. And I was really, we had other assistants and they had other full-time jobs. And so, that was an opportunity for me to kind of pour myself into the job. And our other assistant, Kevin Ziesman, who now lives down in Texas, he and I got together, and he just a hitting savant, really. I mean, just a hitting guru, and we started furiously writing stuff down on legal pads and just kind of going back and forth talking hitting. And I decided, I don't remember whose idea it was, but we kind of looked at each other and said, well, why don't we write a book? And I was the English major, so I typed it up and sent it away, and the publisher said, okay, we'll run it. So it was a lot of work, man. But again, I was young, I was unattached. It was just one of those things where it was another opportunity for me to dive into it and really learn more about that craft. help myself kind of formulate, my coaching style too. And then, I mean, it's pretty cool to have a framed book on your wall, at home, even though it was almost, probably 30 years ago now. So, good for you on doing your research, because that was a long time ago.
I can imagine. Yeah, I was gonna say, I can imagine there is a framed copy of that book just sitting on the mantle over the fireplace in the Boss household that I'm sure your wife and your children look on admirably.
We used to make fun of me because we get a royalty check every once in a while for like $8 or something like that, and I reminded her that she wasn't getting any royalty checks coming in from books that she wrote. So, we had a lot of fun with it, but it was a great experience and a lot of work. I don't think I'd do it again.
Yeah, it is a lot of work to write a book for sure, but it's a lot of work to be a head baseball coach too. By the way, if you want to send another royalty check Coach Boss's way, it's available on Amazon, $30. I just looked; it's still up. You can pay it, and you can his wife can get another dig at him for getting a royalty check. So send it his way. And speaking of supporting him and supporting this program, Michigan State baseball hosts an annual golf outing every year that supports the program. Are you a golfer? Do you play in it?
I do, yeah. I actually I played 1 year of college golf, believe it or not.
Wow.
My senior year at Alma College, we had our NCAA Division III golf was played in the fall at the time. So I played one season of golf, and I love to play. And it's something that my dad is still alive. He's 82 years old, and he's a big golfer. So we'll try to play every Sunday during the summer, and play with my son a little bit now. And so I love to play, and the golf outing is a fun time. There's it's really well attended. We've been fortunate that we've been able to grow it and now fill the course, and just a lot of fun to more so than the golf, but to see these guys come back, and it's fun to shake guys' hands again and give them a hug, and see pictures of their kids and things like that. It's that's really a highlight of the fall for me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so now we got to get into the family rivalry here, because you mentioned Jake Boss Sr., Jake Boss the fifth all play golf. Who's the best golfer in the family, and what's your handicap?
Well, it depends on who you ask, because I think my son would tell you he's the best. Now, I would tell you he hits it the farthest without question. I think I'm the best putter. My dad hits it the straightest, and on any given day, any one of us could win that day. I'm probably I don't know. I used to be about a 5 or a 6 handicap. It's probably more like a 12 now, and just because you don't get to play as much as I would like. But golf's been a big part of our summers in the Boss house for sure.
It sounds like the Boss family, the Boss men specifically, need to enter a scramble tournament, because you just need a fourth to come on in, and you got the putting. Your
That's
son
right.
can hit the heck out of the ball, and your dad hits it straight. So, I mean, it sounds like your son's hitting off the tee, your dad's getting you on the green, and you're knocking it into the cup, and you guys are good to go.
Yeah, we've played in a couple scrambles before. It's fun, but I think all three of us are fairly competitive. So, when it's going bad, there are times we have a tough time getting it back.
Okay, understandable. Listen, I'm the same way, and my handicap's in the 30s, so right. I get it. Let's talk playing at McLean Stadium, because one of the most unique features in college baseball is there. You've got that hill in center and right field. How do you train outfielders to defensively learn how to climb that thing and make the catch? Because I'm seeing that, and I'm getting flashbacks to the Houston Astros and Minute Maid Park and that same kind of hill. So how do you coach guys to climb that?
Well, we work hard at it. It's something that we work on just about every day with our outfielders, both in the fall and in the spring. And ironically, I think that hill in Houston kind of originated here because Drayton McLean, who was a Michigan State alum, who donated the money for our stadium, was the owner of the Astros at the time when they built that stadium and put the hill in. So their hill's gone, our hill's not. Our hill's still there, and home plate has been at this same place at our field since 1920, and so the field's undergone some renovations, but those were all done before I got here, and so they every time they did it, they kept the plate where it was, and that hill has stayed because the Red Cedar River is literally 2 feet on the other side of that hill, so we got to keep the water out.
Yeah, you certainly do, and it's great to know that the Houston Astros just ripped that right from Michigan State, and it didn't even last. They couldn't keep it up. You guys are still going strong with that. You mentioned On the Banks of the Red Cedar. That's the fight song at Michigan State, and it's where I want to go next because one of the traditions that I saw in the locker room is after you guys win, the entire team sings the fight song after wins in the locker room, on the field, whatever. Do you and your staff make sure everyone on the team knows the fight song before the season begins? Because I've heard there are teams that will sometimes do a kind of a challenge in the preseason with the new guys, go, hey, listen, step out of line, sing it on your own. If you don't know all the words, you got to run a lap or something. Do you guys have that kind of a setup where you're like, hey, you guys got to make sure to know this and be able to sing it loud and proud to represent that Sparty on your chest?
We used to, but our players take care of that now.
Okay.
And so there's enough. They put enough pressure, I think, on the new guys that they know it, or they say they know it. But after a win, you kind of look at some of these new guys sometimes, and they're mouthing the words and they're not quite sure. So we'll get on them enough. I think peer pressure sometimes can be a good thing in that regard. So they'll know it. But it was something that we started our first year here because we wanted to change the culture and we really wanted to celebrate wins. And I felt like, there were a couple times where we won some games and our guys just kind of felt like we went through the motions and maybe we thought we should have won that. And, winning's hard, it just is. It's hard at every level in every sport. To consistently win is really tough. And I think when you do win, you need to celebrate it. And, our guys 18 years ago picked up on it and it's been going strong ever since.
Yeah, that's awesome. A couple more with you here. You've been so gracious with your time. We really appreciate you joining us here on 3D. Talk to me about your dad's influence on your life. We've already mentioned he's a legendary coach in his own right. Even worked as a volunteer assistant with you your first 7 seasons when you came to Michigan State. How much has he impacted your career?
Oh, yeah. He's the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing. A couple of years ago, my mom found a paper that I had written, I think, in the 3rd grade. And it was something about, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I wanted to be a teacher and a coach, just like my dad, and so
wow.
We've had a unique opportunities throughout, both of our careers. I was a high school coach in this area. So, let me even back up. I helped him coach, after I graduated from college. I helped him for part of one season. The next year I was the head coach at a small high school in the area here. So I got to coach against him, which was a thrill. He beat us 7-2, by the way, and played just enough of his good guys to beat us. He took it easy on us, but that's a day that, certainly I'll never forget. I got to coach with him for a season. We were both assistants at Eastern Michigan University. And then he got to work for me for 4 years, in the dugout, and then another 3 years as our radio guy. So, baseball has been a huge part of, my life since the day I was born, really. Growing up in the dugout, I was the bat boy and all of that. And so, we still talk daily. We talk about the game, we talk about practice, we talk about the team, and it's a really special relationship that, I'm really blessed to have a dad like that for sure.
That's amazing. And I know the bat boy is a coveted position at Michigan State. I saw a video last year at the Big Ten tournament. I think one of your assistant coach's sons, Mav, was mic'd up and was the bat boy, and he was having the best time, and the team clearly embraces him very well. So I know that's a treasured role. You mentioned that your dad slipped into the Michigan State broadcast booth. He did it for a few seasons, and your son is also doing broadcasting in Traverse City. What about you? Any interest in broadcast business once you step away from coaching? You're very well spoken. You're an English major as well.
I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. So I'm worried about what practice is going to happen. What's going to happen in practice in an hour and a half from now, and then we got the Longhorns to deal with this weekend. So that's where my head is right now. But I don't know. If somebody wanted to give me a microphone someday, sure, maybe.
Listen, I'd give you one right now. When you're not at the ballpark, favorite place to go in East Lansing?
Well, probably, the Red Cedar River has a trail that runs right through campus, and I think I'd take my wife down there and we'll walk the dog along the river. It's absolutely beautiful. It runs right through the center of campus, and that's probably the favorite place to go walk around, and unless I'm on the golf course. So
yeah, fair enough. There's nothing than the calm sereneness of either a river, hiking, or on the golf course. That hits home for me. Favorite spot to eat at in East Lansing?
Well, we've got a lot of them. There are a bunch of different places downtown, but there's a steakhouse downtown Lansing called Bodie's that would probably be number one for me.
Okay, so Bodie's. All right, how's the steak cooked? What do we got? Medium, medium rare, medium well? What are we doing?
No, medium rare. That's the only way to eat it.
Wow. Okay, you said that with a lot of conviction. I respect it.
That's right.
Do you cook it all, or is the wife the cook of the house?
No, I do. I cook a lot at home,
Okay.
and the summer is a little bit easier than the winter because you get the grill or the Blackstone going. But
there we go.
I do. I think of the majority of the cooking at home, and this time of year it's tough. You get home late after a practice or a game, so she'll do more of the cooking this time of year. But summer, fall, winter, it's mostly me.
All right, what's Coach Boss's signature dish?
Well, I'm a big steak guy,
Okay.
obviously, but there's I really kind of like a lot of different varieties. I like a lot of Mediterranean cooking and Greek cooking especially, and
Yeah.
things like that. But I mean, if you've seen a picture of me, you know that I like to eat. So it's you never trust the skinny cook, I guess. So yeah, I don't discriminate at all when it comes to food.
I love it. All right, we'll close with this one. Michigan State baseball has not been to the NCAA tournament since 2012. What's the biggest thing this team needs to accomplish in order to break that drought?
Well, I think you just need to be consistent, at the plate, consistent on the mound, and I think we'll let we'll let the rest of it just kind of take care of itself. The league is difficult. The non-conference schedule is difficult. I feel like there's a lot of good RPI opportunities out there for us. We got to take care of our business, and I don't think we can think that way. As far as a regional or anything like that, I think we just gotta, as cliche as it is, I think you go out and you play hard today, and then we'll lace them up and play hard again tomorrow, and worry about what everybody else says or does. After that, we control what we can control, and hopefully at the end of the year, that's good enough. So. I know there's a lot of cliches in there, but it's true. I mean, those are cliches for a reason. And so, you play, we're about Texas this weekend, and we've got a nice field in a tournament in Greenville, South Carolina. Then we go to Nebraska. We've got UCLA coming to our park this year. So there's plenty of good opportunities, but, we need to weather the storm. We need to stay consistent and, continue to put together good innings on the mound and solid at bats, and to see what happens.
Coach, amazing stuff. Really appreciate it. Nearly 40 minutes of your time. Amazing to get to learn about you, your team, the culture of Michigan State. It's great stuff, and certainly going to be following you guys all season and years to come. Good luck this weekend in Austin, and again, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the top college athletic programs for the 2025-26 college athletic season? Check out the criteria and follow the year-long standings of your favorite team at L Directors Cup on the X platform or online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2026 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. The Learfield Directors Cup, powered by NACDA, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
A true teammate takes on every day with a winner's attitude, gets up when they fall down, and leaves it all on the field. There's a group of teammates who do all these things every single day. But they're more than your typical athlete. They're kids facing unthinkable medical circumstances. Team Impact matches children facing serious illness and disability with college sports teams, creating a long-term, life-changing experience for everyone involved. Join us in the movement to get all kids in the game. Visit teamimpact.org to learn more. Team Impact. All in, all together. Man, that was awesome stuff from head coach Jake Boss Jr. Can you imagine getting calls from Kirk Gibson and Tom Izzo in the same day? Plus, if I'm ever in a golf tournament and I see the name Boss on the scorecard, I'm running the other way. That's a unit of a family, whether it's on the diamond or on the golf course. And he had some incredible things to share about being at Michigan State and leading this baseball team as well. All in all, great to chat with him, and thank you to Coach for his time, as well as Michigan State Baseball SID Zach Fisher for coordinating this interview. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did, and you can catch the Spartans this weekend in Austin as they battle the Texas Longhorns. That'll do it for this edition of Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. Catch us next week with another exclusive interview. But until then, enjoy weekend number 2 of college baseball, everyone. I'll talk to you soon.